Okay, so in the last video I was debating whether or not I was going to be framing everything out down here. I would need to buy a bunch of new tools as well as figure out how to even frame since I've never done it before, so I made a decision. I hired out for this part. Sometimes you gotta know your limits, and apparently framing is mine.
That's tea, actually.
Now that this is done, let's get to drywall. Welcome back to Brew City Builds. If you're new here, my name is Marcel. I've been on a mission to get the basement to a place that my boyfriend Ben and I want to hang out in, and we're finally getting somewhere. I have a whole playlist of everything I've done down there so far, as well as a bunch of other videos that I've made, so you should definitely check those out if you haven't already after you watch this one. But yeah, since I paid the framers to get that work done down there, I am one step closer to that happening. The guys did a legit amazing job, and it only took them like 2 days, and I know it would have taken me way longer. Totally worth the money. I'm also pumped because the electricians came and did their rough installs, so I can finally start working on that drywall. First thing I need to do is mark out the studs on the floor so that way I'm not screwing into nothing once the drywall is covering them up, so let's go do that quick. Alright, the drywall has been purchased. We got 12 half-inch 4x8 sheets to start. I'll definitely need more, but I want to see how far that gets me. So yeah, my plan is to get through all the bottom pieces first. Then I can start working on the upper pieces, which are a bit more complicated with measuring and cutting since there's windows and soffits and everything else. I'm using 1¼ inch drywall screws to attach the drywall to the studs, and I think that's it. Oh yeah, I forgot one more thing. I found this really cool tool at Harbor Freight. You pretty much just put it on the outlet and then press the drywall up against it, and it marks exactly where the outlet is, which was one of my big concerns because you can definitely mess up where the placement is if you're measuring and kind of guessing, so hopefully this will make it easy. I wanted to stop for a second to talk about a few things. First, the outlet markers are legit. I highly suggest getting them if you ever find yourself hanging some drywall. Second, I did my favorite thing to do, which was make a little hidden note that I put inside the wall. If anyone ever tears it down, they'll find it. Putting up the drywall is a lot of work, so I didn't put a ton of effort into it, but she's still cute. And the last thing that I totally forgot to mention earlier is that I'm using a keyhole saw for all the cuts. I legit love this tool. It has blades on either side, so it makes cutting super easy. So yeah, all the lower pieces are installed, so it's time to get to all the detail cuts to make the upper pieces fit. Alright, the walls are up. My back is definitely feeling it, but it's totally starting to feel like a room down here, so that's cool.
Cool.
I still have to hang drywall on the soffits as well as around the windows, so I'm gonna do that now. That was intense.
I've been working so hard, I'm so tired, you guys.
I'm super sore from lifting all that drywall, but it's done, so now I can move on to taping and mudding. I'm using the usual compound that I've used before in the kitchen and the stairwell. I'll link everything I'm using in the description box if you want to check it out. So yeah, I'm going to be using paper tape for the joints and the interior corners. I found this paper tape combo that I want to try out for all the windows, soffits, and exterior corners. Okay, the first layer of mud is dry and ready to be sanded. I'm using the old wet sand technique so that way I don't have to deal with all the dust from sandpaper. I got this sponge off Amazon that's actually made for this. It has a rougher side to help break down the heavier mud that's over the tape, and a soft spongy side that helps smooth it out. I pretty much just wring it out till there's a little moisture left in it so that way it helps level everything out a bit. I'll probably have to do another 2 coats of mud as well as another couple rounds of wet sanding to get it where it needs to be. But I'll only film the process once so that way it's not super repetitive for you. If only the process was that fast in real life. I started with a 6-inch knife for the first coat, which you already saw. Then I'll go in with an 8-incher for the second coat and a 10-inch knife for the final coat so that way I can keep softening out the edges. I'm going for super smooth flat walls here, so it's going to take a few coats of mud and sanding to get there. So I did end up having to do 3 coats. The whole mudding and sanding situation felt like it took forever, but it's done. I also had to buy a couple more of those sponges. By the time I got to finishing each coat of sanding, it was totally worn down. But it's definitely starting to look like a real space down there. It's nice to actually see the walls. With this part done, it's time to prime and paint, so that'll be next. This basement reno has been a journey, so thank you so much if you've been following from the start. I cannot wait to share all these ideas that I have in my head for down there. Anyway, I appreciate you watching. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Press that little bell icon so you'll be notified when my next video comes out. Let me know what you think, or if you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments section below, and I'll see you soon. Bye.